National Executive Committee. I see the RC of the Women's League is here, led by its chair and secretary. Sibulise ngokhethekileyo kwe-veterans zethu nakwi-family yakwa-Tshwete ngele nkosigama amen. Comrades, let's firstly apologize for starting this time. We're supposed to start at 12. However, we have our challenges as a corner, as a sense of late, but we really apologize. We are not taking you for granted. So I understand that leadership is but that does not mean massively late. We are going to start our program, but before we do that, these are the chaplains of the provinces led by Utatu Kwabaza, ukuba isivulele ngomthandazo. Then thereafter, sizaqala the program yethu. Utatu Kwabaza.
In the interest of time, Program Director, allow me to observe the protocol that you have already established. Wezinyaweni zembeko ndikhahleleke kusekela mongameli okhoyo apha phakathi kwethu leadership yeliphondo leadership yalengingqi kamfundisi ubusana, members of the chaplaincy naye wonke umuntu okhoyo apha xa sizawuthandaza as we gather here to remember one of our own. ndivumele mphathi wohlelo ndifunde nje le vesi sithandaze kuba amaxesha ngamanye ivesi nje emfutshane nayo andiyithathanga yonke, ndithathe nje umgca kuyo uze kulungele into yexesha nokuba ndime apha nge-injury time. Ivangeli engcwele ngokubhalwa nguLuka isahluko sama-20 ivesi ye-19, the Gospel according to St. Luke chapter 22. Verse 19 supposed to be C, because this verse has got about 1, 2, 3 sections, so this could be verse 19C. Othi oku kwenzeleni ukundikhumbula. Your Excellency Deputy President, it would say in English, do this in remembrance of me. Ilizwi kaThixo, inkosi mayisikelele ukufunda kwalo ngoku de kunaphakade. Amen. uYesu uyalibona ixesha eliphambi kwakhe okokuba libaliwe. NoJudas seke yamkele imali yokumthengisa. He is now aware that ayikho enye indlela ebheka emva kodwa ngoku usingise emnqamlezweni. Sithi ivangeli ezintathu uLuka, uMarko noYohane wakatarisha abafundi bakhe wababiza wabavalela egumbini elithile eliphezulu and had a conversation with them. Phakathi kokuba ye kule ncoko wenza izinto ezimbili ezitshayelela lamazwi awathetha apha. Ithi ke iBhayibhile wathatha isonka wasiqhekeza, waza wabe siqhekezile wathi ngumzimba wami lo waphulelwe nina. Segqibile wathatha iwayini wayiphakamisa indebe wathi ligazi lami eli laphalala ngenxa yenu. Uvala ke athi ngamaxesha onke nisukuba nisidla isonka sela le ndebe oku kwenzeleni ukundikhumbula. Wangathi uyazi okokuba siphila nabantu abalibalayo. Wangathi uyazi uba sizawuhamba sihambe silibale. He gave a command. Do this in remembrance of me. And as we gather here today, I'm reminded of those words by Jesus Christ. Uba silapha ukuzawukhumbula. Kodwa xa ndiyeka ndizawucela sithandaze. Ndicela uvala ngale ndawo ithi iyandimangalisa okokuba anything uYesu azayisebenzisa aqale kuqala ngokuyaphula, and anything uYesu azawusebenza ngayo noThixo uqobo lwakhe uqala kuqala ayiqoba amandla ngokuyaphula. Uthatha isonka asophule. Kodwa uthatha uYakobi Bishop Bokoloshe xa ezamsebenzisa amophula usikrobane, ngoba kakade uThixo uses broken things to build his own kingdom. Sihlangene apha as a broken society by the look of things. Zininzi izinto ezisaphuleyo. Sihlangene apha as broken individuals by the look of things ngoba sophuliwe ngenxa zonke. sihlangene apha Mama Tshwete nawe awusaphelelanga ngoba sophuliwe ngenxa zonke. But allow me to say licebo likaThixo ukwaphula kuqala xa izawusebenzisa. Nawe ebomini bakho ne-ANC in its own future and life mayingabuzi imibuzo xa lifikile ixesha lokokuba uThixo aphule. Ngoba ekwaphuleni kwakhe uThixo ulungiselela ukusebenza nokwakha into yobomi yobunaphakade. But as we do that, we are commanded again that lest we forget. Singaze salibala oko sikwenzayo apha, let us do in remembrance of utata uSteve Tshwete. When we walk out of this wall, our language, we must talk in remembrance of him. Not only our language, when we leave this wall, GP, our actions must do anything that has to do with his own remembrance. As we leave this place, caught into a situation yoba sizive ngelinye ixesha sinomsindo ongathi izinto azihambi ngokwendlela ebekufanele uba sizenze ngalo, can we remember, sinakona ukukhumbula ukuba aba bafa bengawazuzanga amadinga, bawabona ekude, bawalangazelela, bavuma ukuba balundwenjwe emhlabeni. At least we can remember that. At least we can remember ukuba bayikroba nje inkululeko, bathi xa begqiba ukroba wabiza uThixo ukuze everything esiyenzayo, everything that we do, siyenzele ukubakhumbula. NgoYesu Kristu Nkosi yethu, amen. Thandaze Bishop Bolosh.
Baba egameni lenkosi yethu Yesu Kristu waseNazaretha, Nkosi emini sisondela phambi kobuso bakho Nkosi. Xa kuzawuqala Nkosi le program simema wena njengoThixo ukuze Nkosi singazenzeli senziswe nguwe. Thixo wethu othandekayo, sibeka Nkosi esi sikhokhelo phambi kobuso bakho. Thixo wethu othandekayo, sithi Nkosi bagcobe sebezawuqala lo msebenzi, bonakale njengoThixo. Solisa Nkosi uqhwithele ngoba wena izinto ezinawe zilungile. Sithembekile ke Jehova sewuzawuqala hamba ngaphambili njengoThixo ukuze zonke izinto zenzeke egameni lakho ngoba sikholwa ngoYesu Kristu Nkosi yethu, amen.
Amen. No, thank you very much to the chaplains. Comrades, sizawukhawuleza ukuyiqhuba program because the Deputy President has to go to another program. Therefore, sizawuthanda ke uba ngathi siyakhawuleza. But before senze yonke enye into, Regional Chair, let me welcome you to the podium. Uzosenzela i-opening remarks on behalf of the RC.
Come on. Tshwete, long live. Long live the undying spirit of Tatu Tshwete, long live. Amandla. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Long live the alliance, long live. Long live the leagues of the ANC, long live. Long live the Deputy President of the ANC, long live. Long live. Long live, Comrade Paul Mashatile, long live. Long live. Amandla. Mandithathe elithuba ndizibusele kuwe Program Director. Let me take this opportunity to greet our Program Director, Comrade Nontsele, our PEC member that is here with us today. Greetings to the Deputy President of our country, the Deputy President of the African National Congress, Comrade Paul. Welcome to Buffalo City. Welcome to the leadership of the PEC, led by the chairperson here to leave. To the leadership of the Veterans League that is amongst us today, Sanibulisa Veterans zethu, sibulise kakhulu ki alliance partners zethu ezilapha, sibulise ki ANC Women's League elapha namhlanje khokhelwe ngusihlalo we-Women's League and all our alliance partners. Ndibulise kakhulu ki family yaka Tshwete, sibulise kuwe sisiphem nabantwana uYonda uMayihlome nefamily yonke yothangana namazangwa alapha namhlanje. It is right and proper that we gathered here today to once more pay our homage to Comrade Steve Tshwete, uthangane, abiding memory of him and his life. He was indeed one of the greatest pillars of our struggle, movement and democratic reconstruction of our country. Comrade Steve Tshwete was what one can call total rounded South African, a revolutionary because he combined himself so many of his experience of the liberation struggle. He was a Robben Island prisoner. He was a leader of the internal mass democratic movement, underground, and part of the movement in exile of the armed struggle. This completes the grasp of all aspects and experiences of our movement, equipped himself with excellence to play the role he did in the liberation struggle. So siyabulela kakhulu kuwe Mama Tshwete. I love what Mayihlome said when we went to the graveside. Uthi oyena muntu uye wayigcina imbali katatakhe nguwe. Siyabulela kakhulu sisiphem. Not only his father but the African National Congress. Umane usikhumbuza bana lo mbutho amakhawe ngamakhawekazi awufela singadlali ngawo. We remember utata Steve Tshwete and his life work, and he dedicated ourselves and our future generation to continue that work and to uphold the values that sinalo responsibility ke comrade sizibambe i-values utata Steve Tshwete zeziphila. We can look back and with pride of our national achievement in these 30 years of democracy. Utata Steve Tshwete sedlala indima kakhulu kulonto. Sithi ke thina siyirhubusane Mama Pam Tshwete. As always, we cannot pretend to be compassionate about the bigger picture if we neglect the small and immediate things. We think particularly of you, Sis Pam, nabantwana bakho, uYonda noMayihlome. One thing that you must always remember that thina apha ke African National Congress siyanithanda kakhulu. We shall always make sure that uComrade Steve Tshwete uyaphila apha phakathi kwethu. And ukuze sikwazi ukwenza lonto si-African National Congress apha Dr. Hubusana sizawuthi dolo sithi make sure ba wena sisiphem i-African National Congress xa sisiya ngo-2026 i-election iyawuhlala iyiyo ekhokheleyo apha eBuffalo City. Andithi sizawuyenza lonto comrade. Mayibuye iHubusana ngo-2026 mayibuye. Buffalo City ngo-2026 mayibuye. I must say, Deputy President, with the short period that we're given by the province to prepare this, sibulele kakhulu ama-comrade for coming here today. Siyazi ba kuyancwadwa kukho imigidi kukho into zonke, but sibulele kakhulu. But I must say, Sis Pam, that we felt the spirit of utata Tshwete this past week. Nathi siyi-region enengxaki zayo. But I must say that this past week was a good week for Hubusane. We did everything in unity. I was saying to the regional secretary, if the ANC inokuthathe le nto bana sibe busy zi-program sibeke yonke enye into ecaleni just for the memory of Tata Steve Tshwete. Sinalo responsibility ke comrades ba masi unite i-African National Congress. I-ANC comrade is under attack. It is under attack. I-enemy is sitting my comrade. I-enemy ayikho ngaphandle. But Deputy President, we want to assure you we would not have any GNU here in Khobosane. We will make sure when it comes to 2026 election, we unite ourselves as the ANC, we unite ourselves as the leadership. Sizi unite singabantwana bakatato Steve Tshwete, sizi unite singabantwana bakaMaxeke, sizi unite singabantwana bakaWinnie Madikizela Mandela. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you very much, President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I like it when you say we have a responsibility to unite the region beyond the challenges that the region have. We are really hoping that going to the 2026, you will perform as you usually do. We are going to move to the Veterans League. Umama Udebra Nguye, that will be representing the Veterans League. Siveneke as a leadership, that will be the only league that is going to speak, simply because we are celebrating the life of a veteran. Mama Udebra.
Viva ANC, SABC, COSATU and Sanko Alliance. Viva! Malibongwe! Igama lamakhosikazi. Phambili namagala ANC phambili. Phambili ngamagala ANC phambili. Mandibulise bethunani ngale njikalanga. Ndibulise uPresident we-African National Congress, uComrade uPaul Mashatile. Ndibulise i-leadership ye-province no-chairperson we-province engekho apha kodwa benathi Madlakeni. Ndibulise i-leadership ye-region ekhokhelwe ngu-chairperson kunye nonobhala. Ndibulise abefundisi, ndibulise ifamily yakwaThangana nasemazangweni. Ndithi ngegama lomfeli nomvukeli andinawalibala kamavolontiya, because imbejembeje sinjena just because of the ANC. Indeed, ama-volunteer ayawenza umsebenzi wayo osigquma emqolo siyi-African National Congress. Andizuba mde kuba ukhona umuntu usingaye apha nzaba mfutshane namhlanje. Ewe ndingumuntu onesisu esikhulu kodwa ndizawuzama, Comrade Nontsele. uComrade uSteve. Xa sithetha ngoComrade uSteve, sithetha nge-educator, political commissar. Comrade uSteve namanye ama-comrade awayiphume eRobben Island. After i-release yawo, ona babuya ngela xesha kusenzima. Bathi struggle must continue. Why ndisithi an educator uSteve Tshwete? I remember, Comrade Nontsele, the time sasiformishe isawu or before sifomishe i-South African Allied Workers Union ngelo xesha, uComrade uSteve sasiconsulta yena, sasikwazi usuka apho sihlala khona ngapha eMadankeni sizoconsulta uComrade uSteve apha ePiltini. But uSteve Tshwete wasifundisa, samamela, wasicebisa, hence siye sakwazi ngo-1987 ukufomisha i-South African Allied Workers Union because of uComrade uSteve Tshwete. uSteve Tshwete ayikho enye into awayeyithetha ngaphandle kwe-unity. uSteve Tshwete ayikho enye into awayeyithetha ngaphandle kosebenza siyi-team, sisebenze together, singabheki ngapha abanye babheke ngapha. Sizothi namhlanje kuComrade uSteve, Comrade Steve, imfundiso zakho sisazikhumbula and sithatha apho uyeke khona. Le nyanga mosibibirthday kaComrade uSteve, siyamkhumbula ngemfundiso zakhe. Kukho laa nto bekusuka kusithiwa mosikudala, kwakusithiwa imfundiso kakusithiwa naka nini, ewe inyathi ibuzwa kabaphambili. You know, we learn imfundiso zikaComrade uSteve. Sithi ke ngalo nyaka masisondelelaneni senze i-renewal in the African National Congress. You know, Tina, we thought before the unbanning of the African National Congress, we thought us members of the African National Congress. To our surprise, nobantu, pango 1990, patwa peningengomalungu ANC. Then, therefore, joinana mbanofunga. Sithi sijoina i-ANC singena njongo zenzuzo njengeziqo. Then sabuyela back to our branches. Really, first conference ye-African National Congress yabonakala into yokokuba ibuildwe zii-branches. Sifundile saya kwi-conference ye-African National Congress eDurban. I-outcome ye-African National Congress yabonakalisa i-unity, uba we are united. Hence uComrade uOliver Tambo wakwazi ukuthi hand over uComrade uMandela as the president plus leadership. uComrade uSteve wayeyipart of that leadership yango-1990 after the banning of the African National Congress. Now simkhumbula ke uComrade uSteve xa siphuma apha, unity in action, together we can do more. Comrades, xa ndizawuhlala phantsi, lena umasipala akekho omnye umntu uzawumsindisa umasipala ngaphandle kwethu. We are the one abazawusindisa this municipality. Kuba lo masipala ibe nguye yedwa apha eSouth Africa after 21 ukuma abe yimetro. Now loo nto ifuna kuthi thina sizayivumela ihambe ngo-2026. Sizayivumela ihambe ngo-26. We cannot afford ukuyihambisa kuba kaloku ngo-1995 simkhuphile uKalbeka owayemhlophe ngelo xesha, kodwa we manage because of unity. Sahlala phaya ephehashini 7 days 7 nights sikhupha uKalbeka, sisamanage, savota in numbers. Hence today kukho lo masipala ukhokhelwa ngabantwana abancinci esibavuyelayo. Hence kukho le mayor inguPrincess today. Now sawuthina ngale mini maqabane, let us come together and build the African National Congress. Apha mosikuthethwa nge-renewal. We need to renew our African National Congress. We need to build i-ANC. Abantu abangenazo i-mission and visions alombutho khe sibabhekele ecaleni, sifuna ubheka phambili, sakheni phambili nokwakha phambili, phambili ne-African National Congress phambili, malibongwe phambili, ngamagqala phambili. Enkosi.
Mandla awethu Long live the spirit of Comrade Steve Tshwete, long live. Makaphile umomi mka-Comrade Steve Tshwete, mabuphile. Thanks, comrades. Nkosi Mamu Deborah, for reminding us about the life and times of Obra Steve. Maybe let me just crack a joke, Mamzang. There was a meeting of comrades in 1985. So in this meeting, there was a discussion around the consumer boycott, the planning of consumer boycott. And now for a meeting to start, the comrades have to introduce themselves. And then, I'm back, comrades introducing themselves. But midway, one comrade says, as introducer, but abene qualification, ukuthi now is new observer in the meeting. Then the next speaker, as introducer, raises a question, ukuthi, comrade said, do we allow observers in this meeting? Then it becomes a debate for quite some time. Utangana is just quiet, sitting silently. The meeting got disrupted. And then as point of intervention, Tangana say, no, stop, comrades. I'm not going to preface it in other ways. But Tangana just say, okay, comrades. The comrade is correct. He is observing. What is happening outside whilst people are being killed is nothing to him. Means whilst people are in jail, that means nothing to him. Whilst people are in exile, it means nothing. So he's coming here to observe us. So comrades, let's observe him as well. So the long and short of it, the comrades then stood up and apologized. But I'm now participating. Comrades, in those times and even today, there are quite a number of good stories that we can tell about Obra Steve that will help shape and inspire you as we proceed. Now, we want to invite the Comrade Deputy President to do the inaugural lecture of Comrade Obra Steve Tshwete, our former president of the UODF in the border region, member of the NEC of the ANC, the former commissar of Umkhonto weSizwe, one of those in the three categories that we always emulate with generations that the ANC leadership has had. There are those who left the country, sacrificed everything, led by our President General, President O.R. Tambo. There were those who went to jail and gave away everything, led by President Mandela. And there were those who went to jail, came out, and again left for exile and came back to rebuild this organization. Obra Steve and his generation represent that kind of leadership that we had. Deputy President, the platform is yours.
spirit of Comrade Steve Tshwete, long live. Phela kunaphakade, Comrade Steve Tshwete, phela kunaphakade. Long live the African National Congress, long live. Mayiqine Alliance, mayiqine. Thinta abafazi. Long live the ANC Women's League, long live. Roar, young lions, roar. Viva ANC Youth League, viva. Phambili ngabahlali phambili. Viva Sanko, viva. Phambili ngamakomanisi phambili. Viva SACP, viva. Phambili ngama-veteran, phambili. Did I forget someone? Phambili ngabafundi, phambili. Viva Kosas, viva. Viva Sasko, viva. Program Director Mangbonge Lethuba onginike lona. My sister, Comrade Pam Mamzangwa, abantwana baka Comrade Steve, Comrade Yonda, Maihlome Hlase, who are here, who have been with us the whole morning, and other siblings, the family of Comrade Steve, the Tshwete family, and all the relatives who are here with us today. Usihlalo wePhondo was with us the whole morning, nasemadlakeni, but we had to release him because kunabantu abakhona babuya kwamanye amazwe bafuna ukusinikeza imali ukuthi we must fight HIV and AIDS. So ngithe makagijimele ngakho bathi Global Alliance, because I don't want them bathathe serious, because this is a big battle that we are fighting. So usihlalo Premier wethu Comrade Mabuyane has gone there. Comrade Secretary, I'm not sure if he will be joining us. Let me also recognize members of the National Executive Committee, Abakonapa, members of the Provincial Executive Committee, our regional Secretary, Comrade Princess Faku, for having received us in this region, but the leadership and members of the ANC Veterans League, the ANC Women's League, and all the members, the ANC Youth League, and all the members, particularly who are present here. Ngakhohlwa Alliance, South African Communist Party, COSATU and SANCO, all members of the REC who are here, zonal branch leaders, all of you from the branches, Bati Amandla Semasebe. Phambili ngama branch, phambili. Phambili ngama branch, phambili. Our provincial chaplain, nabafundisi bonke abakhona namhlanje, who have also been with us the whole morning. Comrades and friends, I am pleased to be here in the home of the legends, especially in Khubusana region, named after the co-founder of the Xhosa language newspaper called Izwi Labantu, Dr. Mpilo Walter Benson Khubusana. This great intellectual initiated the Native Education Association that contributed to the formation of the South African Native National Congress, which later became known as the African National Congress, and fondly called by many the Parliament of the People. I must, and I trust and hope that the leadership of this region will continue to invest in producing more Hubusanas who are responsive to current conditions of a dynamic, modern, and ever-changing society. In honor of Dr. Hubusana, we will continue to invest in the preservation and promotion of mother tongue and indeed our indigenous languages. Comrades and friends, it is in this regard that we in government are convinced that we were correct to get the Basic Education Law Amendment Act passed by Parliament. Bakhona bafuna ukuyisusa. I was reading on social media as I was coming with an agreement somewhere ukuthi hayi ezinye zikule act maziyekwe. We are saying no. Azinawe. That's why the president appointed me to chair the clearing house on behalf of all parties. Utsilungise lento. Manje ngiyabona some people bagijimela phambili ukuthi this language admission is not important, so ibona ngesinye isikhathi. No, sifuna ngoku mayilungiswe ngoku. Comrades, paying close attention to today's event, it is indeed an honor and a great privilege for me to deliver the inaugural memorial lecture on the lives and times of Comrade Steve Tshwete Utanga, an activist, a servant of the people, and loyal cadre of the African National Congress. I want to respectfully thank Mrs. Pam and the family of Comrade Steve for allowing us to share the memories of this great man. Nelson Mandela once said about his life that his life combines discipline and fearless forthrightness. Comrade Steve was a patriot, a revolutionary. He was also an army commissar of Umkhonto weSizwe, and a congressman through and through. He was inspired by the tribulations of the leaders and the leadership while reading reports of the Tshwete in the late 1950s in the Imvo Zabantsundu. And soon after that, after he left school, he joined the ANC and immersed himself in political activism here in the Eastern Cape. In the early 1960s, Comrade Steve was appointed a member of the Border Regional Command of Umkhonto weSizwe, MK, which many of us know, the ANC military wing. He was arrested in the national raids in 1963, and together with scores of other MK leaders, commanders and members, they were all arrested, and in 1964 he was sentenced to 15 years in jail which he served on Robben Island. When the United Democratic Front was formed in 1983, Comrade Steve was elected the president of the border region, as the program director indicated. He influenced many of us when we served in the United Democratic Front. I was young then when the UDF was formed, just 22 years old, and I happened to serve later on at the age of 28 as the General Secretary of the UDF Southern Transvaal. And I had an opportunity to work with Comrade Steve. And speaking for myself, I really admired his courage, tenacity, and resilience. Like many of his generation, he was detained for many months, constantly harassed by the security police, and declared persona non grata by ministerial decree. And this led him to decide to go into exile, first to Maseru and then to Zambia and later many other countries. When he was once asked about service, he reacted like a true ANC cadre by saying the following: wherever I will be placed, I will do my best. Sengathi sonke singatsho njalo. We must not complain. But I don't want to be a councillor, I want to be an MEC. No. Let's remember the words of Comrade Steve: wherever I will be placed, I will do my best. This was due to the fact that he was deeply involved in the politics of the Congress movement. He decided to dedicate his life to serve others. How many of us identify with Comrade Steve and carry out our task diligently and without expectations of anything, without expectations wherever we are deployed? How many of us would, as Funindo, we are there to serve? May we emulate Comrade Steve. We must be like him. We must be like Comrade Steve Tshwete and perform our best where we are without worrying about future deployment. We should learn patience like Comrade Steve, primarily because Comrade Steve instilled in us this virtue of patience. Comrades, last week I also spoke about another great revolutionary of our movement who hails from this beautiful province, the home of the legends. And this is our former president, Comrade O.R. Tambo. I was invited to do a lecture on his life. And one of the lessons we learned from Comrade O.R. is that, and I want to paraphrase him, we might think it is tough to wage a liberation struggle. However, it will be more challenging to keep the power than to wage a liberation war. Now, many of you will recall Comrade Tambo said these words as we were towards attaining our freedom. He never saw the freedom because he passed on a year before we got our freedom. But he had said these words to warn us that uma sicabanga ukuthi kunzima emzabalazweni. We must wait until we get into power. Then we will see. And he said, people are going to demand from you many things. They want water, they want the roads to be fixed, they want social grants for their children. We can see that today, what O.R. Tambo said. Kunzima ngoku. We thought it was difficult Pen when we were underground, carrying AK-47 and grenades. Kunzima ngoku. We have to respond to this challenge. We must never, comrades, forget these words of this great revolutionary. Particularly after this elections in 2024, we can see what is happening now. But equally, we can see that our liberation movement is under attack. And our aim is to ensure that our movement is rooted in communities. And it must remain at the helm in resolving the problems of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The ANC mayihlala ebantwini, not far from the people. Mayihlala ebantwini. Because when our enemies and our opponents attack us, but ngesilungu we are aloof. But niyababona la baza nje makunama elections and then they disappear. Let us disappoint them by being there all the time and working with the people. Comrades, appreciating Comrade Steve Tshwete's work over the years, it is evident that he understood that in serving our people, we must uphold the mandate of our voters, or a mandate that the voters had given us. He understood that we must remain rooted in our communities, because the ANC, as I said earlier, is always fondly known as the People's Parliament. Hence, he would have understood the current arrangement where we are today. We ended up now, Sebenza Namanya Party, we've got a government of national unity. But let's refresh our minds that in 1994, President Nelson Mandela created a government of national unity. At that time, the ANC did not lose elections. But President Mandela said, in order to take everybody with us, let's create a government of national unity, which we did. And Comrade Steve was part of it, part of this first GNU. And as I said at some point when I spoke about him, that he served as a Minister of Sports under President Nelson Mandela, and he used sports to unify our people. I recall that whenever he discussed about sports with President Mandela, they used it as a sign of unity, as a way to unify our people. So when we have the GNU today, the Government of National Unity, it's not because we embrace this as a movement, as eternal destiny. We are saying that we have suffered a strategic setback in my election, so we need this arrangement so that sikwazi ukuregroupa siye phambili. So, comrades, we must do our best to ensure that this current GNU works and complete its full 5-year term. We should also work hard to bring about a better life to our people. Bakhona vela abagezayo. Khona kuyi-GNU every day. Kodwa thina ANC masiyeni phambili, because thina we are serious about the work we are doing. We are not there to play games like others. When you wake up, when you wake up, they want to distract us. Till now, we are committed to serving our people. Comrades, our immediate task is to return the movement to its core values. This is the only way we can honor and remember Comrade Steve Tshwete and those who have contributed to advancing the National Democratic Revolution. Comrades, the African National Congress leadership recognizes the Eastern Cape all the time as a home of legends, because many of our leaders hail from this province. And this region in particular. Several traditional leaders fought in this region during the 100-year wars of resistance against colonialism. In this regard, we can mention a few. King Hintsa Kakauta, who remained a crucial figure of bravery, King Matoma, King Zambe, and many others. We remain indebted to these outstanding leaders. We must continue to preserve and promote the role of traditional leaders. Let's not undermine them, these traditional leaders. I work with them every day. The President gave me a task to work with our traditional leaders. Let's continue to work with them. We are also indebted to the Khoi and the Se, who were relegated out of history by the apartheid regime. Today, we work with them because they too fought against colonialism. This history that I'm speaking about has shaped and influenced our struggle for liberation. And as we recall the heroic deeds of our forebears, today we are here to remember Comrade Steve Tshwete, inspired by these brave warriors who fought against colonialism. So Comrade Steve was walking on their footsteps as a warrior too. Program Director, today it evokes memories and sacrifices made by Comrade Steve and his generation when they joined the African National Congress in the 50s, and this armed wing Umkhonto Wesizwe when it was formed in 1961 as the armed wing of the African National Congress. MK was a response to the continued undermining of our struggle against apartheid by the then regime. It took years for the ANC to agree to embark on an armed struggle. And President Mandela was telling us a very important story about this, because after the burning of the ANC, they realized that no, Lamapun are not serious about us negotiating with them. We're trying to negotiate with them. They detain, arrest people. Now they've banned the organization. So they decided there's no other way to continue the struggle but to take up arms. And President Mandela was telling us that they had a long discussion because the president of the ANC then was Chief Albert Luthuli. And you'll remember, comrades, that Chief Albert Luthuli won a Nobel Peace Prize, a Nobel Peace Prize in 1961, just around that time. Now, how do you go to a man who has won a Peace Prize and say, let's go and take guns and fight? So President Mandela said they had to go one by one to try and convince the chief. And they said at some point they decided to send Comrade Walter Sisulu, because they said, Mhlambu Sisulu, angamzamu chief, yabo. And then at some point he said the chief, as the president of the ANC, said, okay, ningayenza lento, but enzame a separate organization. So they did umkhonto wesizwe and ran it as if it's a separate organization, but kahle kahle bekuyinto ye-ANC. But Chief Luthuli wanted to have an opportunity to continue the peaceful struggle whilst these young men who bebashiswa igazi already, they must go and take up the armed struggle. So he supported them, even though he himself did not participate directly at that point in the armed struggle. Comrades and friends will all remember that the ANC Youth League, formed in 1994, is the one that introduced radical ideas in the ANC that led to, amongst others, adopting the Freedom Charter. Abo Comrade Mandela, O.R. Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Yebabakali Youth League, 1944. In 1949, they introduced a program of action that radicalized the ANC. It radicalized the ANC, leading to it becoming an organization that was no longer just relying on deputation, sending delegations to the Queen, but taking up struggles on the ground, defiance campaign, and so on. So they got known, those in the 1940s, but abo uvuga aibambe izidlamli. And the ANC indeed became radicalized, and comrades like Comrade Steve Tshwete were influenced by that to be able to go in that direction. So to us, Comrade Steve Tshwete represent that bravery, that resilience, that discipline and sacrifice of the leadership of the 1940s. We must, comrades, ensure that these values remain the guiding principles of our movement and society as we embark on the renewal program that we are busy with at the moment, the renewal of the African National Congress. In his honor, and as we preserve and promote Comrade Steve Tshwete's contribution, we must renew the African National Congress to remain the leader of society. And the ANC won't remain a leader of society because we say so. Kuzobonakala ngezenzo, not talking. But hey, we are a leader of society. No. Mabasibona abantu apha konke ezilalini everywhere ukuthi sikhona. I know many of you like this phrase, so I want to know the ANC is a leader of society. Let's see you there. You can't lead people by just talking in the boardrooms. You must be there with them, deal with the challenges that they are facing. I would like to remind you, comrades, that Comrade Steve Tshwete, as I said, was appointed Commissar of Umkhonto wesizwe in the ANC. And in his honor, we must be serious about this renewal, because he was a teacher as well. You know, commissar is a big word, but it's somebody who teaches, particularly politics, teaches politics. Comrade Steve, as a teacher originally, I think this came very handy for him to be the commissar. Afundisa amajoni ukuthi le nkululeko esifunayo ayifuni nje isibhamu nengqondo iyafuneka. You need to understand the National Democratic Revolution, to understand the dialectics, then ungasibamba isibhamu ke. So that's why he was the commissar, and he did very well as a commissar. We honor him today by ensuring that the ANC must continue this tradition of fundisa. You'll recall that not long ago, the National Executive Committee started what they call the foundation course. I'm sure Nibonil, Ikalegu NEC. Sis Pam, you were there with me in the NEC. So the foundation course years and again, Kuma branch. Because we want you to understand the history ya Lombutu. You must understand its values and its principles. Because once you do, you'll be a better cadre. You'll be able to serve our people better because now you understand. So, siyonifundisa nonke. Nyazi bakhona bathi hayi sesirhabulile thina. Siyakufuna nobo urhabulile because we also others to become teachers. Mawurhabulile ke siyokufaka. You'll go quickly through the refresher course and go and teach others. It's important that we must go on with this foundation course and learn the history of our organization. In 2012, we spent a lot of time in this province visiting historic sites. I was then a Minister of Arts and Culture. And one of the things we're doing was to identify throughout the country where our leaders came from. We even went to exile to look at important historic places because we want to memorialize this. We are doing it again. We just recently brought in the remains of those who fell in foreign lands to be brought home. But we are going to continue to memorialize because we must never forget those who fought in the struggle, those who fought for our freedom. So those who fell in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, and other places, Angola, we are bringing back their remains. In honor of Comrade Steve, we must deal with poverty, unemployment, and inequality. We must build safer communities for young girls, women, and the most vulnerable in our society to ensure that they too can work, can play, and live freely in our communities. We know that today, because of criminals, niyasaba nokuhamba in your streets. People are scared. So we are going to have to work very hard. We must fight gender-based violence and femicide to protect our women, our children, to protect our people in general. And this is what Comrade Steve would have wanted to see happening. Comrade Steve was also a Minister of Police. Many of you will remember. So he would be happy to see that we are taking up this fight. We are expected to do this in honor of Comrade Steve. This should not only be done as we fight this scourge, we are also focusing on the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children. But this should not be done only for 16 days. Makube into esiyenzayo every day, not just 16 days. It must be an everyday commitment, particularly because these things happen in our houses as well. GBVIC says Stradin, Nalaika, and sometimes we keep quiet and then it gets perpetrated, especially by men. We must talk to these men. Some of these men who are scared to fight the Boers, Makwala. They were scared. Imagine they're busy beating up young women and children. We're going to deal with them because GBV must end. Program Director, we are pleased that the ANC-led government, particularly in this province of the Eastern Cape, is working with the national government to address the challenges of extortion and criminality. As we honor Comrade Steve as a former Minister of Police, we must deal decisively with these criminals for this criminality that is happening in our community. You know, there was one time Comrade Steve was saying to the police, and I remember that vividly, and he said they were dealing with violent crimes, and he says, when you deal with these criminals, you must deal with them like a bulldog chewing a bone. I don't know if you remember that. But he was not saying they must be reckless and not respect the law. He was just saying they must be tough. They must be tough with the criminals. So we must be tough with these criminals. You know, when a bulldog this bulldog chews a bone, it doesn't smile. Whenever we saw them, they will touch it. So our police must be tough, but we as communities must work with them. Because EMP to end up crime is not just for the police. It must be for all of us. All of us. Because some of us have a tendency to police. No, we must work with them. Yes, we must look for them with but singing not kuma CPF and so on. But into some gender-based violence, we must fight them at home. Must fight them at home. Let's not keep quiet. But let's deal with Lento Yamaspaza shops as well. Because we are serious about building the economy, local economy, supporting our SMEs, but there are people who are involved in criminality. Let me make a call with all those who run businesses. Please register your businesses. Please. This registration process is not for the foreigners, it's for all of us. But the illegal ones can't register and run businesses. We run a journey business when we are illegal. So let's register so that people are no illegal. Because the problem with us as South Africans, we harbor them. We harbor them. Instead of us running businesses, we harbor the illegal ones to run businesses. And I'm not saying you can't be landlords. I need to marry landlords who are but do it with people who are legal, not illegal. You can't harbor illegal people. If you want to be a landlord, when I funu 10 years spaza unendlu ufunu rentisa, it's okay, but do it within the law by renting out to legal people, not illegal people. I am pleased, comrades, that the leadership in this province is also investing in growing critical sectors of the economy: tourism, the automotive industries, agriculture, ICT, and the ocean economy. In fact, if Udia was here, I'm sure he'll talk for an hour about this. He's very passionate. Manzi briefing this morning, he was telling us about the roads that they are building and a lot of other things. And the Abona now, calling into Zagala, you Eastern Cape. You know, those who have eyes can see. Siyabona dear. Good umsebenzi wenziwa, and thina as national government we must support. Sizon support our comrades. We do want to see the economy of the Eastern Cape growing so that we can create jobs, particularly for young people. The young people mabayithole imisebenzi. So I want to say to the leadership of the province, what we want to see happening now is speed. The policies are there, the programs are there. We need the speed of execution. Magu implement. You know, the ANC has got very good policies. Suspect, you know, very good policies, but sometimes as implement static pressure, but well done Eastern Cape, but I want to see more. These industries I've spoken about, the automotive, the agriculture, tourism, are industries that can grow. If there are better roads, more people in agriculture can take their goods to the markets and so on. So by investing in infrastructure, the provincial government is doing the correct thing. When I went Emadlageni now this morning, we went on a road which the Premier says they are going to propose to their government in the Eastern Cape to name that road the Tshwete Drive. In honor of Comrade Steve. And Nyani Bai Lungis. I saw the work is happening. The Premier said to me, if I come back after 2 years, Nzobona, everything will be perfect. The only problem is that I might come back much earlier. But Lungile, so I'll see progress. Because that's what I want to see. 2 years ago, I will be back here. And I want to see progress, but for now, well done to the leadership. Kukhona ama-company afana nabo VW, Stellantis. VW has invested another 4 billion rands. Stellantis another 3 billion rands. So there is no way that the Eastern Cape can fail. We must just coordinate, be focused, work hard. More investments are going to come. And the national government is going to support that these investments must come. Program Director, the ANC-led administration is committed to supporting small businesses and startups in all economic sectors, including in agriculture. You know, in agriculture, the sad thing is that sinikeza abantu umhlaba, and then they don't till the land. We are going to have to please assist those who are receiving land to make use of that land, make it productive, because we are now pushing. You know, the Minister of Land now is not from the ANC, it's from the PAC. But he said something very interesting to me this week. What he gave me, I want you to come with me to Mpumalanga because I'm going to release more land. But I couldn't make it. So on Wednesday, when we met in cabinet, he reports to me, says, I've just released an additional 500,000 hectares of land. So it means this process is going to be accelerated. But Masilimeni, please, Masilimeni, let's use this land productively. Those who have cattle, let's rear these cattle. The markets are ready. Those of you who have cattle, China is exporting or importing from us a lot of meat. And how much China money? 1.5 billion. No man you won't finish them. They'll eat all that meat. So let's be serious about agriculture. Those who are in agriculture. Government is going to give you more land. Let's use it productively. That's what we want to see happening. We have programs like comprehensive agricultural support programs, because that was a complaint. So we've come up with programs to assist them. We offer financial support, advisory, training, capacity building, and infrastructure support, particularly to disadvantaged land owners. Comrade Manditibeze. As I conclude, we honor and remember Comrade Steve, and as we do so, we will never move away from the historical mission of the African National Congress, which amongst others is to unite all the people of South Africa, in particular Africans, for the complete liberation of our country from all forms of discrimination and national oppression. We will continue and will end apartheid in all its forms and unite our people. We will defend our democratic gains and ensure that our people advance towards a society in which people remain free all the time to choose their government. We will fight for social justice, eliminate inequalities, build a South African nation with common patriotism and loyalty, which the cultural, linguistic, and religious diversity of the people is always recognized. Promote economic development, support and advance the cause of women's emancipation, support and advance the cause of national liberation, development, world peace, and also support the struggle at all times for the rights of women, children, and people with disabilities. This is the ANC of O.R. Tambo. This is the ANC of Steve Tshwete. We will continue to honor Comrade Steve Tshwete because, like him, we will perform the best to the best of our abilities wherever we are for the attainment of the National Democratic Society. Ngeke sibuzwe uma sideploya. We will continue to do what we are asked to do for the complete liberation of our people. Asina mona, asina nzondo, siyayidumisa ANC. Long live the spirit of Comrade Steve Tshwete, long live. Long live the spirit of Comrade Steve Tshwete, long live. Maikini ANC, maikine. Maikini ANC, maikine. Asina mona, asina nzondo, siyayidumisa ANC.
Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Long live the Alliance, long live! Mandla! Away too. Comrades, let's again thank Comrade Deputy President for the excellent presentation of the life and times of Comrade Steve Tshwete. With a huge Comrades, before we proceed, we may be punished, particularly as program directors. We didn't acknowledge some of our guests, but at the same time, in defense of that position, that Deputy President, sometimes some of the guests, when you invite another guest, when you start introducing other guests, then they tend to steal the show. So that's why sometimes you don't have to emphasize the guests. We've got leaders, comrades, leaders of our movement, members of the National Executive Committee. We've got comrades Zizi Kodwapa. Next to him, we've got next to him, comrades, we've got Comrade Letsike also. Behind me, comrades, we've got Comrade Zodwa Zotani, the provincial treasurer of the South African Communist Party. And lastly, comrades, upper pants, we've got a senior leader who is sitting silently, largely because I don't know whether it's because of the responsibilities given to him by this organization. Ubaba, Professor Mashatile, the chair, provincial chairperson of the Integrity Commission. So Geyo Lenonditi, when the good observations as he's sitting there. Welcome, comrades. Comrades, now we will invite the family to talk to us so that we're able then to conclude. Can you invite Otanga?
Because I'm in Berlin, so I won't be too long. I think the role of the family is just to reflect on Utangana, what kind of person he was, and he's a very multifaceted person, as comrades have said. So the two aspects I'll just speak on is love and honesty. A revolutionary called Che Guevara was asked, what's the making of a revolutionary? And he said, at the risk of seeming ridiculous, let me say that true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality. So you could not be an activist, a revolutionary, the love for the people of this province, the love for people of this country is what made my father the man he was. That love is coupled by not wanting to see people struggle. You can't claim to be a leader and be comfortable with the struggle of abantu abamnyama. It is the priority of government to address those living conditions that make the lives of black people difficult. I'm very encouraged by the DP's words because everything he spoke about revolves around upliftment of people. Like my father, he didn't come and speak about people, he came and spoke about ideas and plans that government has put in place to uplift people. The second component of honesty, I think the DP has also touched on. You have to have the courage of honesty, to look at yourself and say, we are not perfect, we need to improve on certain things, and that's what I think the ANC is trying to do now. DP, I know you are a busy man, and I'd like to thank you for taking time in your program to go see the gravesite of Katanga. I'd like to thank the chairperson in his absence, Bra Oscar, for making time. He has always given time to this family, and it's something we don't take lightly. No one owes us any of the attention they give us. So when it comes, we are very grateful to you. I'd like to thank the PEC for taking time repeatedly throughout the year to honor Utangane. There are members of the NEC here, my brother Uzizi, who is a frequent visitor in my mother's home. He doesn't come just when there are events. He makes sure that my mother is not a lonely person, and she's given the care and love that she gets from him. I'm very grateful to you, my brother Uzizi. I want to thank Antonio, Mobala. I want to thank Mrs. Princess, Mr. And most importantly, I want to thank you for coming on a Saturday. Nizo mamela sithatha ngothangana. Ndiyabulela. Thank you.
Mandla, wethu. Comrades, a quick one. Before we invite Regional Secretary to do a vote of thanks, there's an offense that I've committed right from the beginning. But for me now is to extend the apology to this outstanding revolutionary. The problem is and then salibala ukuthi she is a leader in her own right and a revolutionary one. Umama Mzango. That's the mistake which we take full responsibility. Remember the NEC, Umamzana, it's not just Umama Tshwete. Remember the NEC who has been elected and re-elected. Yes. Then they also say Sazisa, Umama Nemazibo, Umama Fanda. Welcome, leadership. Comrades, now can we allow Regional Secretary Comrade Karel to come and do a vote of thanks?
Thank you very much, Program Directors, Pramgwe, Comrade Balungile Sapo. Let me first start by greeting the family and extend a revolutionary greetings to the family, Tshwete. In particular, Umamzang, the member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Umamupem, who is the wife to Tatu Steve, to Comrade Yonda, and to my friend Umay Showman, and the family at large of the Tshwete family. Ustalo is saying, Deputy President, that we need not to be reminded as a region that we must celebrate and commemorate the life, the legacy, and the times of our fallen hero. Oh, yes. As a region, we must be conscious to the fact that he resides in our region and he lays in our region, oh, yes. And therefore, as a regional leadership, as young as both of us are with our collective, we must be able to take on that responsibility and celebrate our fallen heroes and heroines. Mandi acknowledge as well the clergy or the chaplaincy of the African National Congress, led by Umfundisi Kwabaza and all of the other men and women of God that is with Umfundisi Kwabaza. The ANC members who are present is also acknowledged and also thanked for their presence in this gathering today to celebrate the life of Steve, as he was affectionately known. I've noted Comrade Zizi is here, one of our ANC members. Comrade Umamupem was also an ANC member. So you must be very cautious when you take a platform and she's in the midst, and don't refer to her as the wife or as a family member, because she constantly reminds you, I'm a leader in my own right, and therefore we acknowledge you, Mamupem, as a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, and all other members of the ANC. Who come to Steve also, who is a member of the NEC of the ANC. The peace members were here. Umamgwev was a kai. Come to the notion of Umamgwev. I come to the notion of Umamgwev. Umamgwev, Likas, Likas. Tibule Supramgwe, Comrade Balungile, Comrade Usis Nomse, all RSC members that are here, led by our chairperson of the region, Umam Chawe, Comrade Princess Faku. Our veterans, Prof, and all other veterans that are here, Mamu Debra, Nagun, Siabulisa, and we appreciate the fact that on a busy day like this, December, there's a lot of activities happening in our space as the Eastern Cape, but you saw it befitting as veterans that you must come here with the family, the African National Congress, and commemorate and remember ourselves about the life and times that Udada played during his time. Manbulele na branches the ANC that are here. All 13 branches of the ANC, ama volunteer of ANC, as well as the councillors of the ANC that is also here to come and celebrate the life of this giant. Mamzang must be a special appreciation to women. We must give you that special acknowledgement and appreciation. Nabantwana bakho, the family yako at large, that you borrowed a son to the African National Congress, to South Africa and to Africa, for him to fight for our freedom, for our liberation. Unfortunately, you could not enjoy it to the fullest. He did stay with us just for a short part of his life in our democratical dispensation, and then Ubabo Apapezu decided then to take him away from all of us. Umayihlome and his sister, Susyonda, for the understanding that when the African National Congress called upon their father, and when their father was exiled, and when their father had to skip the country and continue to advance the struggle of the people of South Africa, they never became weary, and they never be asking too many questions as to why we are not having a father. So Sanibulela for Londo, because you allowed your father to be a father of the nation and not just a father of yourself. So Sanibulela for that, comrades. I'll refer to you as comrades because we are comrades as well. Deputy President, Mandize Uweke, Ustalo beseyitshilo kusasa this morning when we were in the political briefing that we must appreciate you. Not bonke bayenza le nto yenzayo. You are here on a government program, but you decided to say, let me come a day earlier, because we are in a renewal of the African National Congress. We are in a constant contact and reconnection with our people. As you have said when you are addressing that, ngesilungu abantu bathi we are becoming aloof, or we are aloof these days as members of the African National Congress. But I want to be certain that the community as a building is ibonile pa. Ibonile African National Congress, it is here and it is here on their space. And therefore, that on its own is a connection with the people of that community. Nalapha edorobheni abantu bayayibona African National Congress that it is visible in this society, and therefore we are trying to reconnect ourselves with our communities. We are trying to live up to the renewal of the African National Congress. Sibulela kuwe ke DP that you said we must have this program today. You are the one or initiator the program yokuba on Saturday, as I am coming here for a government program, I must have a political program in line with the ANC decision. So Sabulela, the Deputy President of the African National Congress and that of the country. As I'm sitting down, I want to join my regional chair, DP, to say that this is the only municipality that is overwhelmingly led by an African National Congress government, led by the chairperson herself as an executive mayor. Bonga bo metro, umgalelo DP, mdibaniswana. This one is out of 100 seats, 62 seats are that of the African National Congress. And as we are moving to the phase of renewing the African National Congress, it is only a united leadership of the African National Congress that will ensure that what we have as this region and as this city, we retain it. But we'll be able to retain that if the ANC leadership rise to the occasion, unite itself, be intact, and serve the people of this city, and we will be able to come back with more than 62% as the African National Congress in South. Lastly, as I sit down, DP, this is the last time I'm saying no as I sit down, man, appreciate the zone yaseQonce, the King Williamstown zone for being silicon, for being able at this short period, because we had a 2 or 3 day, to put all of this together as a regional, provincial leadership, as well as your team in the presidency. So ndabulela kuni team presidency, team zone yaseQonce, and all the branches of the African National Congress in this particular zone. Thank you very much, program directors. Amandla.
Wait, too. Thank you, Nopala. Comrades, now we would want to conclude. by doing lento ngokukhawuleza. Sizawucela umama uBhokhwe asivalele. Immediately esivalela sizama ngolu hlobo sesime ngalo and allow uComrade DP, the family and the leadership to leave the stage. Singaphumi thina singabaculela sibahalalisele kodwa sibavulele ngola hlobo sibavulele ngalo xa bengena. Then uphuma kwabo ugqiba kwabo then ke nathi we take leave. Amandla.
Nwele, 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 uzalise, uzalise, obukaka uliko, obukaka yamkela indumiso, yamkela indumiso. Amen. Asina mona, asina nsonto. Utsho uDeputy President. Mna ndithi ke Deputy President koko uYehova ebengakuthi kundumiso 124 lo masithandaze sizogoduka ngoba koko uYehova ebekunye nathi. Khange kube lula unyaka wonke kodwa koko uYehova ebanathi. Masikele namehlo sithandaze. Baba egameni kaJesu somandla emva kwemini Thixo wethu sesisawugoduka uThixo nakho. Sibulela into yokuba koko ubuhamba kunye nathi kwezi ndlela Thixo wethu. Sikunika uzuko nembeko ngoba wena usifanele. Bekungekho lula Thixo wethu kodwa wasikhusela. Siyabulela ke Thixo. Alwaba ufefe lenkosi nobudlelwane bomoya oyingcwele bungahlala phezu kwethu sonke kude kube mnaphakade. Amen.